did the easier format. Here is the more challenging format. And here's what it looks like. So converting from general to standard form. So our general form looks like this. It is x squared plus y squared plus 8x minus 2y minus 8 equals 0. And standard form is what we were just working with. It looks like this. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. This is the one that we can pull the numbers out of and graph from. But what often they do on standardized testing when they're getting to that higher level is they'll give the formula to you in this format, and you have to change it to get into this format before you can graph it. Okay, so what are the steps? We're going to group it like x's and y's, and I'll show you what that means. Then we're going to complete the square. Then we're going to factor and simplify. Okay, so first step is we got to group the x's with the x's and the y's with the y's. So we're going to put like this and this together. So we're going to write x squared plus 8x plus, leave a blank, and you'll see why in a second. Plus, then we'll put the y's with the y's, y squared minus 2y plus blank equals, see why in a second. And then this constant right here, we're going to put it on the other side of the equation. So we'll put it over here, 8. Okay, now what? Okay, so next step, we have to figure out what goes in this blank. And again, it'll take a question or two to get the hang of this. To figure out what goes in this blank, we're going to take this and we're going to complete this square. So we're going to take this number, 8, and divide by 2. So divide by 2. And we get 4. Then square it. So 4 squared equals 16. So we're taking this term, dividing it by 2 to get 4, and then squaring it to get 16, and that's what goes in this blank. And then whatever we add to this side of the equation, we also have to add over here. And then we're going to do that same thing right here. We're going to take this middle term, the negative 2, we're going to divide by 2 to get negative 1. Then we're going to square it to get positive 1. So we divided it by 2 to get negative 1, squared it, we get positive 1, that goes in the blank, and whatever we add to this side, we add over here. This will make sense in a second, just trust the process for right now. Okay, so now that we have this set up, we're going to factor this. So we got an x here and an x here. We need two numbers that multiply to 16 that add to 8. So like 4 and 4 would multiply to 16, add to 8. So x plus 4, x plus 4. And when we do the same thing right here with the y, two numbers that multiply to 1 and add to negative 2 would be negative 1 and negative 1. So y minus 1, y minus 1. And then we add all this up and we get 25. Now you might be starting to recognize this format. So now that we have two x plus 4s, that would be x plus 4 squared, y minus 1 squared equals 25. So now it is in the standard format. And from here, you can pull out your center, which would be -4, +1, and then your radius, square root of 25, which equals 5. Okay, so we're going to keep practicing. It'll start feeling easier after we get through a couple examples. So this first one right here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to group the x's with the x's. X squared minus 8x plus blank plus the y's with the y's. In this case, it doesn't have another y term, so it's just y squared. That actually makes the problem easier. And then subtract the 7 from both sides, and it becomes -7 over here. So for this, we just take this middle term, divide it by 2, get -4, square it, and get 16. And then when we add on this side of the equation, we also have to add over here. And then factor this. So two numbers that multiply to 16 add to -8 would be -4 and -4. So x minus 4 plus y squared equals 9. So we get x minus 4 squared plus y squared equals 9. Our center would then be +4, 0, and our radius, square root of 9 equals 3. Okay, next one, practicing so that way we can get it to stick in our head. So x's with the x's, x squared plus 4x plus blank plus y squared minus 6y plus blank equals, add the 3 to both sides, so this would be over here, 3. Hello. Okay, so for this blank, I take this number over here, 4 divided by 2 is 2, square it, I get 4, so this would be 4, and I add 4 over here. Then this -6 over here, -6 over 2 equals -3. Square it, I get 9, add 9, add 9. Zoom in a little bit because I think that's probably really small. Okay. Then simplifying this, x plus 2, y minus 3, -3 times -3 would be +9, and that would add to -6. So y minus 3, and then 3 plus 4 plus 9 would be 16. So I get x plus 2 squared, y minus 3 squared equals 16. The center, I can then easily pull out -2, +3, and then radius, square root of 16 equals 4. This is practicing a lot of skills you'll need in Algebra 2 or Math for College Algebra 2, which is nice. Number 10 is a little bit different because before we do any of this, we just have to divide everything by 2 to simplify it. So all these terms can be divided by 2. So we'll just divide them by 2 to get it into a better format. So you get x squared plus y squared minus 8x plus 2y plus 10 equals 0. Then we group it. X's with the x's, x squared minus 8x plus blank, y squared plus 2y plus blank, subtract 10. Then this -8, -8 divided by 2, -4 squared equals 16. Whatever I add on this side, I gotta add over here. This middle term, 2 divided by 2 is 1, squared is 1. X minus 4 plus y plus 1, y plus 1 equals 7. -10 plus 16 would be 6, plus 1 is 7. So there is standard form. Center would be +4 and -1. And our radius is just square root of 7. That won't come out evenly, obviously, so we'll just leave it in that format. Okay, one more question, and it's actually easier than the rest, in my opinion. Ready for the last one? Okay. The last one down here, we're going from standard form to general form. So it's giving us this format, and it wants us to get it into this format that they've been giving us. So the way we do that is we're going to factor this out. So x minus 4 squared, write it out, x minus 4 times x minus 4, y plus 3 squared, y plus 3, y plus 3 equals 36. Then we're going to factor this, so FOIL it. So first outside, inside last. X times x would be x squared. Outside, -4x. Inside, -4x. -4 times -4 is 16. And we're going to FOIL this as well. Y squared. Outside, 3y. Inside, 3 times y. And last, 3 times 3 is 9. Equals 36. Okay, so we will have x squared plus y squared, I'm kind of rearranging as I simplify, plus -8x plus 6y, like 3y plus 3y. So I'm combining this and this, combining this and this. And then I have 16 plus 9, which would be 16 plus 9, why am I at 25? 16 plus 9 is 25 equals 36. I need to get this 36 over on this side, so it's equal to 0. So I get x squared plus y squared minus 8x plus 6y minus 11 equals 0. And so here would be the general form. Okay, and that is all. So your to-do list is to leave this out, leave out notes so I can check it. You have homework 10 what is it? 10-8? 10-8 on Schoology. All the homework questions are the shorter version on the front, just so you know. So these aren't on the homework, but I wanted to make sure to teach it so I'm being thorough. And then work on Alex. So you can grab a laptop, get logged on, leave this out, and I'll give you credit. Good job. I know it got long at the end, but good job. Okay. All right, so I shut up.